Howdy there, everybody. Welcome back to the asylum. A couple weeks ago, I picked up this crusty, rusty old Honda Ruckus. This is a 2007 model. The backstory is it's been abandoned for at least 5 years and hasn't been cranked up in that long. And today at Motorcycles Asylum, we're going to see if we can get this bad boy running and driving again. Let's get up from here and push it inside and get started. I should probably have my head examined. The more I look at this thing, the worse it looks. But the tires will hold air, the brakes all work, and the throttle cable, believe it or not, operates like it should. So it may or may not be as much trouble to get running as I think. Here we go. We got the Ruckus up on the workbench. It's sitting here. There were a couple things. Like I said, I already ordered a battery for it because I checked the original battery. It was dead, way too dead to even attempt to charge up. We'll evaluate this thing a little bit. There's a coolant overflow bottle here. This bottle is empty. I'll have to pull this off. You can't get the radiator cap off without taking the radiator strut guard off. Let's check the oil right quick. Well, it's full of oil. Doesn't look too bad. The oil doesn't smell like gasoline. There's no sign of water in it, so that's a good sign. The muffler's got a mud dauber nest in it, and there's no telling, probably all the other vent hoses on this thing are in the same condition. It's rough, but if we come out here and pull out the Kickstarter, it kicks through and it feels like it has some compression. So I'm going to put this camera on a tripod and get to work evaluating this thing. I'm going to interrupt this video for just a minute here. I want to say thank you to the fine folks at We Bike Japan for their help. They have a lot of the stuff I do on this channel wouldn't be possible without it. One example, they carry literally thousands of part numbers, both OEM, replacement, and custom parts, including many unique items you won't find anywhere else at japan.webikenet.net. This week they're having a special sale on Babyface performance products. These are the finest in like rear sets, carbon decorative and functional items, a lot of carbon fiber items, almost anything you could want for your sporting motorcycle. That's Babyface performance products. Another line of fine made in Japan products that are virtually impossible to find anywhere else besides We Bike Japan. So if you get a chance, go check them out. And also, while I got you here and I'm talking to you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It's really encouraging, and it helps me to keep things like this sponsorship. Now, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Alright, like I said, it's time to start checking this junk out. We'll start by, let's check to see if the radiator has any antifreeze in it. It's the only thing I am concerned about because the overflow bottle is completely empty. Let's couple it. I actually managed to find some JIS screwdriver bits for an electric screwdriver. Makes my life so much easier. Slide this out of the way. The radiator doesn't look too bad. It's a little dirty. Put that on the table. it is full of antifreeze. Yep. So that is good. That's all we need to know on that part. Basically, the engine and everything is under here. The battery goes in right here. I don't have a key for it. Didn't have any keys for it. I noticed it looks like somebody tried to drill the ignition switch mounts out. So I suspect they may have lost the key at some point. Pull back the gas cap. The gas cap is shut and it is thoroughly locked. But I can tell just by the smell of it that the gas in it is rotten. I don't have a key for it, so I'm going to have to either break it loose or drill it loose. But this is certainly more of a struggle than others. That's one way to skin a cat, or a Honda gas cap. It's nasty in there. Yep, and it's almost full too, which makes it even worse. Oh well, we'll deal with that. Right now I'm just going to stuff a rag into it to make sure it doesn't spill. I got some new parts for it, but I don't want to install them until I'm sure it's going to run. In the meantime, before we take the seat off, let's go out to the other side and take out the air filter and see what it looks like. Here we are, the air filter housing is right here. As far as I know, let's go ahead and make sure the screws all come loose. I don't like to just jump on things with power tools. Although amazingly enough, the screws and everything on this one are in good shape. Which means that the air filter has probably never changed in its entire life. Not too horrible. Not the rat's nest that I was expecting. So it definitely needs replacing. It's old and brittle. And I'll do that eventually enough. Let's go ahead and pull the seat off and the floorboard so we can get the gas tank out of here. One of the great things about these little bikes is you've got all the customization options. And a lot of it had to do with the way this seat is. I may fix this one up for my wife to ride a little while. See if she wants to use it for a pit bike when we go to shows and events. That way she doesn't have to wait on me to carry her somewhere. There we have seat lifts right up. Man, the smell of that rotten gas is about to overpower me here in the shop. Here we are again. Put the 12mm socket down and grab the 10mm socket. So we'll go ahead and take the floorboard off. Okay, it looks like it's in multiple pieces. I've never worked on one of these before. I did a little reading on them. That's about as far as I've gotten. I got a service manual. The one thing I learned, especially dealing with these motorcycles, there's always something you don't know. There's always going to be something that is thoroughly oddball on some of these machines. And at this point, it appears that the Ruckus is one of the most unique and oddball machines of them all. There's a little screw in the front here. That is a uniquely dirty piece here. I think I'm gonna have to wash all of this before I put it together. Again, but for right now, I just want to see if it runs. That's all I'm interested in. By the end of this episode, we should have a running and driving Honda Ruckus. The tires are holding air, so I'm going to keep those. Here's the fuel tank, it slides right out, just like this. Got a plug in on it right up here. This is what it takes to get it out. There we go. Got a little fuel filter down here underneath the tank. And the fuel pump. Pull these little clips out and then I'll see can I get this line off. Yeah, there we go. Now I can take this stinky thing outside. Whew. Okay. It's got the fuel pump down here, which I hope is still good. daubers everywhere. Let me get the air hose over here and blow this thing out some. Just a little bit of rat poop in there. What horrible. It's not the Honda virus special that some of them I work on are. Let's put all the screws back here out of the way. Sure, I got everything picked up here. I'm going to try something that's a little different from my normal approach on this one. Now here's the thing, all the buttons work. Everything on this bike appears to work just fine. So I'm actually going to see if I can reach the carburetor drain. Still leads down here. Drain it out. And see what happens when I try to crank it up. Man, it's just full of leaves. I'm going to blow it out some more. If you're wondering about the extra long air nozzle, it's kind of overkill, but I purchased this at the Barber Vintage Festival swap meet last year. And it really comes in handy for cleaning up on the and also down inside the motorcycle, open it, start it. Alright, I think the next step here will be to break the ignition lock loose. Yeah, I suspect the backstory on this, I got it from a buddy of mine who got it from another friend who said that one of the guys that worked for him rode this thing for a while, and then one day he parked it in the back of the shop that they worked out of, and then he quit and never came back for it. And that's where it's been. And that's been about 5 or 6 years at least. So the guy took it out as an abandoned vehicle, and now it's here. Alright, let's see if I can get that to come unlocked. I know the easiest way to do it is just go ahead and put the drill on. So I just may go ahead and do that. I don't really care if I destroy the lock set. I've got a whole other lock set to put on it if it's worth it. Let's get it moving. Let's stick the battery in it and see if anything happens. this little doodad right here is a solution to a tight packaging problem that is both ingenious and aggravating as hell at the same time. The fuse block is on top of the battery terminal. I'm kind of hoping the fuel pump is still working. And the ECM. These little critters have all kinds of stuff on them that you don't think of on. So I'm gonna leave that screw part the way in. The shape of this thing is about easier to put. Go ahead and put the screw in place. And as always, we install the positive terminal first. Back into the battery box, like so. I'll finish tightening this down. Let's turn the key switch, see if anything happens. You know what? Much as I hate to do this, I got the right parts I need to replace this switch. I'm going to go ahead and replace it. This way y'all know I'm an honest man. I couldn't even steal a Ruckus if I wanted to. But apparently, neither could the previous owner. Because they tried to drill the original lock off and failed. Two screws right here. I might still be able to get that one with a proper JIS screwdriver, impact driver. That's one of the things that causes so much of this to fail. People use the wrong kind of drivers. No, I'm afraid it's too far going with that. Maybe not. How about that? It popped right loose. And this screw is that worn out. That's a testament to vessel impact the JIS screwdriver. I'll leave a link to these down in the description. If you're working on any kind of Japanese vehicle and you don't have JIS screwdrivers, or for that matter, most computers or modern small appliances, you're really harming yourself. You really need to get a set. But this one here is really buggered up. There's just not enough left in that one. That's what. Now I'm going to show you another one of my favorite tricks here. I have this ancient blue point screw extractor set. I've had this set for over 35 years, which is remarkable. But the reason for that is because I hardly ever need the extractors. It came with a full set of left-hand drill bits. And usually with the left-hand drill bit, it will grab the screw and pull it out. And you won't actually need the extractor to do anything. How's that for a better way of doing business? So, anyhow, these are cheap, dirt cheap, if you buy aftermarket. And they're not really that terribly expensive if you buy genuine Honda. I just wasn't spending too much money on this thing until I actually hear it run. Because if it runs, I'll go ahead and drive it some. But if it doesn't, it's sitting here for a while. Fuel pump's trying to work. Amazing. Dash lights come on. Just got to see. The starter button is not working. Not sure why that is. But, well, I'm going to go ahead and pull the flywheel cover off right quick and see if I can't figure out why I can't at least get the Kickstarter to spin fast enough. That means pulling the airbox off as well. Oh well, while I was working on the Kickstarter linkage, the camera battery died. I just basically pulled this off of here and lubricated it all up, freed it up. I still don't know why we have no spark. Compression actually feels pretty good, but I'm actually going to go ahead and test it right quick. Then I'm probably going to go in and get through the service manual and tracing out the wiring harness and seeing what happens. Well, we've got 125 pounds of compression. We'd probably go higher than that if I keep pumping it, but that's enough to run it with no problem. So I'm satisfied with that. Now all I got to do is figure out the no spark condition. It might be something as simple as unplugging and replugging the correct wires. Well, I was looking at other things on this before I went with the spark problem. I noticed that the carburetor has got to come off anyway. Even though the throttle butterfly works and the return and all that works just fine, the vacuum slide that goes up and down in it is stuck. So we'll go ahead and pull off the carburetor and clean it out good. Okay, I pulled the carburetor off and pulled it apart before I went in to check the wiring diagram. But anyhow, it's pretty crusty. It's pretty well varnished up in here. So it's a good thing I went ahead and pulled it off and checked it. It wouldn't have run like this anyway. Or if it did, not for long. So we'll go ahead and get this taken care of. Figure out what is causing our no spark condition. And we'll get this thing running. A while ago I said that finding the no spark condition was probably just a simple matter of plugging and unplugging the right wires. Well, I was testing to see where the voltage stopped at, and it turned out by plugging and unplugging the wires coming onto the coil. And now we've got a nice healthy spark. I don't know if you can see it on camera or not, but it's there. So we'll get the carburetor done, and even if we don't get the electric starter to work, we know that this thing will start up now. It's got compression, it's got a spark, all it really needs now is fuel. Okay, as you can see here, the carburetor is cleaned up, ready to go back on. I've checked around. Like I said, we've got spark, we've got compression. The electric starter is still not working yet. I haven't figured that one out yet, but I will. But it's not an important thing. So what I'm going to do is, so I can kickstart it, I'm going to replace these missing bolts up under here. There are 2 bolts missing off of the center stand. So I'll replace those as quickly as I can. And then rig up a temporary fuel supply. The fuel pump appears to be working. So I'll rig up a temporary fuel supply and see, can't we get this thing started up. It's alive. I'm sorry. I didn't capture my first kick. Actually, I was starting it by hand. Once I got it straightened back up and everything connected, it actually fired the second time I've run in the Kickstarter with my hand. Let me take the brake pedal loose here, the brake lever, where I had it strapped. See if I can rev this thing up a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of wild. Everything's working so far but the electric starter. The fuel pump even appears to be working. The original gas tank was in really bad shape, and somebody had already pulled it and put a liner in it at one point. I may have run out of gas there. We'll see in a minute. Need a little more carburetor tuning. Oh, I forgot to clean the mud dauber out of the tailpipe. Oh well, it sounded pretty good. It was nice and quiet. I think I'm gonna bypass the fuel pump though and run the line straight to the carburetor and see what happens. Okay, we got this thing kind of running. It'll actually start up and run. All the problems I've had with electrical connections have been just that, dirt. They all need to be cleaned. It'll fire up and run really well. I got a little problem, air leaks around the intake. I got to pull that off and replace it. You can hear it speed up then. When it starts, it runs. The fuel pump even works. All the lights, the turn signals, the horn, everything works. Even though the turn signals are dangling here. Unfortunately, the problem with the air leak is causing them to have running issues. So that's it for this episode. I'm going to finish getting the gas tank cleaned out because it is a horrible mess. Somebody at some point had tried to put a tank sealer in it and it failed. And it may have a hole or something. Anytime I get it cleaned, I may have to order another tank. The genuine Honda tanks for this thing aren't terrifyingly expensive, but you can get some aftermarket ones for about 65 or 70 bucks, which would probably be the way I would go if I have to replace it. Of course, being as cheap as I am, I'd prefer not to. So I'll get this intake ordered and the gas tank straightened out and get this thing washed up, cleaned up, some turn signal stalks on it, and then it'll be ready for a ride. I was hoping to take it for a ride on this episode, but unfortunately, it's just a little bit too damaged for that. I mean, I know I could rig up, hang my gas bottle off the handlebar and go ride and all that, but then I'd have to put it all back up here and put it all back together again. So I'm not going to do that. But for right now, that's it. We got this junk Honda Ruckus that was abandoned. Hasn't been running in at least 5 years. We got it started up, we got it running, and it actually sounds pretty decent, as long as I don't try to rev it up. But once I fix the intake manifold, that should take care of that problem. So anyhow, that's it for now. Until next time, I want y'all to keep riding, keep wrenching, and stay crazy.